When teaching denaturing in biology, a piece of reality to use is the denaturing that occurs when you cook meat. So when you heat meat, all the proteins start to denature. They change shape. And so this means that rather than teaching denaturing as a concept, changing enzyme shapes, there's actually a practical part to it. And when amino acids denature, when the proteins denature, they break apart as well, releasing the amino acids, making the meat taste nicer. And if you keep cooking it even past this point, the meat loses its water and other juices, fats, and that's why meat goes leathery when you overcook it. Denaturing. It's good to have something for the students to hold on to. Another term, chitin, that's taught in biology lessons. It's the cells of mushrooms and other fungi, and it's also the shells of crabs, and it's the reason why you can't overcook mushrooms. The chitin doesn't break down upon cooking for a long time. When teaching nitrous oxides, you can mention gas stoves. If you have a gas stove, do open the windows, do have the extractor fan on, because gas stoves release a lot of nitrous oxides, nitrogen dioxide, dinitrogen oxide, nitrogen oxide, all the nitrogen oxides released, bad for the health, cause asthma. Open those windows. Another cooker that's interesting is induction cookers. They use electricity in a coil, and the coil makes a magnet inside the saucepan. A changing magnet, backwards and forwards, because the alternating current is changing the coil north and south and north and south. And this is making a magnet, making a magnetic field, and your saucepan is in that magnetic field. And so that creates eddy currents inside the saucepan, and that makes the heat. It's an induction coil. Further interesting things about induction coils, aluminium doesn't work very well because it doesn't set up the eddy currents like stainless steel and iron and cast iron do. Pyrex glass saucepans will also have trouble, and so will copper ones. A way to introduce carbohydrates, the 3 types of carbohydrates, rather than telling the students, ask them as homework, what's wrong with white bread? Why should you not eat white bread? And then hopefully they'll come back with, some of them coming back with the fact that they don't contain enough fiber, they're mostly starch, and a bit of sugar. And therefore, you get the students to tell you about the 3 types of carbohydrates. Cool. The very fast trains in Japan, the Shinkansen trains, it's known that they use shapes for the front of the train to be like a kingfisher. And this is quite known. But what other 2 birds were also used in the design of that train's shape? Because there was also designs on a penguin and an owl to make the train go faster. The owl makes the Shinkansen quieter inside, and the penguin shape reduces air friction, just in case you needed to know. And my last one for today, from the podcast 30 Animals That Made Us Smarter, is the bioluminescent beetles called fireflies. They're not on fire, and actually they're not flies either. They are bioluminescent, and they attract the female to the male by using a flashing light. And some of them cheat and then attract males to eat them. But yeah, by studying the abdomen of this beetle, scientists noticed, using an electron microscope, that the shape of the carapace, the exoskeleton of the beetle, makes light coming out 15% more efficient. And now we're beginning to use those same shapes, sharp shapes, on the inside to stop the light from LED reflecting back into the LED and come out. Using animals, evolution, to help us with our technology. When teaching about an engine, I say to the students, imagine a corridor with doors on it, a hallway, doors. And one door opens to let in some petrol, evaporated petrol with some air to explode. Another door opens to let the gases out after the explosion, the quick burning has happened. And so they have to imagine that the end of the hallway can come up and back. And so it starts with the exhaust door opening and the hallway wall coming up, pushing out all the gases out of that door. The door closes. The hallway goes back down. Another door opens. And that sucks in, or squirts in, if it's injection, the gases, oxygen, and evaporated petrol. It has to be 15%. Too big a percentage doesn't burn, doesn't explode. Too little percentage doesn't burn, doesn't explode. And that's what your carburetors do. And now you've got other systems too. Goes back down, in comes the gas. Comes back up, squashes all the gases together. Now, squashing all the gases for a diesel engine squashes them enough to start the explosion, because when gases squash, they get really hot. And so a diesel engine doesn't need a spark plug, but a petrol engine does. It has a little piece of lightning, a spark, made by a thing you plug in called a spark plug. And that starts the explosion. And it's the explosion that pushes the wall back down the hallway to give the energy for the whole system to work again. A 4-stroke system goes up and down and up and down and then bang, then down. Whereas a 2-stroke goes up and down and up and explosion and down. And that's the difference between a 4-stroke and a 2-stroke. You can have as many cylinders as you like. It could be 1 cylinder, or a V-twin, or inline 4, or 6 cylinders. But it's how many strokes that tells whether it's a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke. Anyway, engines.